Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at all you guys. Hi. Thank you so much for that kind introduction and for all the congratulations I've been getting all day. Very excited and really excited to be here. It's just an honor to come to speak to you guys today, and hopefully to encourage you a little bit, to get you excited about the march tomorrow and about all you've been doing all year and all you're going to continue to be doing. But also to kind of think and take a moment before to reflect on why you're here. So when I was coming up with what to talk to you all about today, it was kind of challenging in a good way, because I thought, what do you talk to a group of students and adults and families who are all on the same page as you? Like, we're all here for the same cause. I'm not trying to convince you necessarily of anything. And so to come up with something to speak about that can be a little difficult. But I decided that that's actually a really good thing, because that means that you already know what I might tell you. You already know that the pro-life issue is the human rights issue of our day. You know that it's an issue that doesn't just affect unborn babies that we're here to defend, but it affects the mothers, it affects fathers and families and communities, and it's hurting them. And so I want to take a minute today to encourage each of you to remember your reasons for why you're here, because each of you does have a reason. It might be a very personal reason. Maybe you were convinced by a mentor or by a talk at some point. Maybe you just kind of always knew deep down that this was the right thing. Maybe you're here as a convert. Maybe you didn't always believe that. Maybe you were pro-choice at some point and then just couldn't justify it. And maybe you're not really entirely sure. Maybe you're here with friends and family and your school, and so you're here too. And over time, you'll start to further form your opinions about things, and when you do, you might start to question your pro-life beliefs that you have right now. And that's okay, and you might be tempted to think about it in different terms, but that's all right. You'll have friends in your life that are not pro-life. You might have friends that will get abortions. You might have friends that will encourage people to get abortions. And the thing is that those people have reasons for their beliefs too, and they're allowed to, but you're also allowed to question them. And it's good to question what our beliefs are and what our reasons are so that we can defend them later on. So why do you believe what you believe? Why are you here? Why do you think that being pro-life is the right option? Why do you have that feeling in your gut that there's something just not right about the pro-choice arguments? When those questions start to come up in your mind, because they will, they have for me, they have for my friends, if you're not thinking through how you would answer them now, then you're doing a disservice to your future self. Because you do have reasons that you believe what you do, and you should be able to defend them to other people and also to defend them to yourself. You should be able to look yourself in the mirror every day and give the reasons for why you're doing what you're doing. And if you can't do that, you need to take a step back and return to those reasons. And so I'm here today to give you some of my reasons that I'm pro-life, because it's not just because my dad is a Republican. It's not because I was raised in a Christian household. It's not because I was raised in a conservative family. It's not because my dad is Mike Pence and has been a staunch pro-life advocate for his career, even though he has. I have my reasons too. And so I'm encouraging you to have your reasons and to know what they are. To not allow people to tell you and to not believe yourself that you're just pro-life because you were raised in that area or you went to that school or you have that faith. Whatever it might be, because they can say that all they want and they can think it, but you have to know that that's not the only reason why. And a lot of these values that you have and you're maybe raised with, that I was raised with, they're good values, and you shouldn't dismiss them or where they come from. But make no mistake, they are against the culture. They're a rebellion, and you all know that. You all probably know from coming to DC, where there will be protesters at your protest tomorrow. You know that you're not the in crowd, you're not reflected in the mainstream media, and you're not popular all the time. But that's okay, because anyone who made a difference in the history of the world wasn't really popular at the time. So know your reasons. My reasons developed over a long period of time. I came to the March for Life when I was younger. I was in middle school, and I remember seeing pictures of aborted fetuses that people had displayed. I went to a Christian school at the time where everybody was pro-life, and we talked about it openly. And it just seemed like to be pro-life was just the smart thing to do, was the right thing, and it was obviously the right thing. But when I went to public school, and then I went to college, I met people who didn't believe that. And they didn't all think abortion was a good thing. They just thought it was a necessary thing. They thought it wasn't right for anyone to tell anyone else what they should do. And actually, just pausing on that for a moment, because I know that you've all gotten that talking point before, I actually disagree with them on this, that you shouldn't tell people what you think that they should do. Because if we aren't allowed to tell people what we think is right and wrong, then how can we really make progress in the world? How can we improve our culture? The world won't change unless we tell people what we believe is right and wrong, and if we believe there is a difference between right and wrong. And we open up the space for other people to disagree with us on this and debate us in a healthy manner. And there will still be some people who believe that there's no such thing as right and wrong. There's right for me and right for you, right for right now. But it's an idea that I think we should push back on, and push back on with kindness. Because the pro-choice culture, I believe, mostly is a culture full of people who are really hurting. Most people who believe abortion is a good thing don't believe that because they're evil. I do believe that evil exists in the world, and I believe that abortion is evil. But I think a lot of people on the side of the pro-choice argument are actually in pain, and we need to reach them. So know your reasons so you can reach them. Know why you believe what you do other than the fact that abortion is morally wrong. Know why else it's detrimental. Know that abortion has psychological ramifications for women that can stay with them for the rest of their lives. It's been given the term PASS, post-abortion stress syndrome, which is a condition similar to PTSD and has similar symptoms, but it's not talked about very much. Know that abortion harms entire communities, and overwhelmingly so minority communities. In 2014, 49% of abortion patients had family incomes below the federal poverty level. Know that siblings of aborted children often suffer from feelings of survivor guilt and depression when they learn that their mother had a previous abortion. Know that the abortion culture doesn't just deprive an unborn child of life, but it harms the people that she might have met. It takes away rich relationships that might have been formed. So know your reasons. My reasons are founded in my faith. They're grounded in the fact that I was taught the value of human life. But they're also backed up by other things. They're backed up by science. So do your own research, know the statistics, the ways that science continues to prove that life begins earlier and earlier than previously thought. And some of my reasons were formed on the 2016 campaign trail, which I went on with my parents when my dad was selected to be President Trump's running mate. I helped my dad actually frame his arguments for the vice presidential debate, and I got to help him train for it. And when you're preparing for something like that, you do these little mini debates where you kind of role play and you pretend that it's the real thing. And so he was doing those, and he was learning how to answer the questions that he would be probably given. And one of the most difficult ones was going to be the question about abortion. Why are you pro-life? Shouldn't a woman have the right to choose? How can you tell somebody what you think is right for them? How can you tell someone what to do with their life, with their body? It's their body, it's their choice, and you shouldn't be able to put your male legislation on it. And that all probably sounds familiar to everybody here. But I wanted my dad to really practice that answer. And so we went over how he was going to answer those types of questions. And at first, his answers were more fact-based. They had a lot of legislation and statistics in them. And I knew he has such a heart for these people. that he has such intense compassion for men and women who find themselves in the situation with an unplanned pregnancy. And I knew that his reasoning doesn't come from a place of judgment. It comes from a place of love for that child, for that mother, for the communities that abortion affects. And I remember telling him when we were practicing those answers, I told him he should speak from the heart. Speak from your heart when you're answering those, AKA remember your reasons. So then in the debate, he quoted Mother Teresa when she spoke to the National Prayer Breakfast in 1994. She called abortion the greatest destroyer of peace today because it is a war against the child, a direct killing of the innocent child. And my dad made the powerful point that a society can be judged by how it deals with its most vulnerable, the aged, the infirm, the disabled, and the unborn. And I believe when he did that and when he spoke that way with kindness and compassion, that he did so in a way that can change minds. And you have the power to do that too. Because we won't be able to reach the other side by yelling at them. And the people who we really need to reach will tune us out. Even though sometimes it feels like the other side does a lot of yelling. Like with the Shout Your Abortion movement. On its surface, it looks like it's just celebrating abortion, which it is, but it's also doing something else. And if you go on the website and you read those stories, which I encourage you to do, you'll find something else there too. You'll find stories of people just wanting to get their experiences off their chest. They want to tell someone what they went through, and they have nowhere else to do it except for maybe an online anonymous forum where they can tell strangers. And so they shout their abortion and they're told that they did the right thing, and then they try to move on. But let's not allow the pro-choice movement to own these stories anymore. Let's be the people that these women and men run to in order to tell their stories and help them to embrace life and to perhaps find healing and be able to move forward. And you're allowed to be angry about the injustice of abortion. Our cause is one that's rooted in the ideas of social justice. We're here as a voice for the voiceless today. And make no mistake about it, you are the modern day abolitionists. It's good to be with this group and to be excited because the march is a rally, it's a protest, and you're here to march for life. You're here to show support for the unborn child, for the mother who's in a situation where she feels alone, to show her that she's not alone. You're here to spread the message that life is worth it, that fighting for the right for everyone to live is worth it. But know your reasons. Know them today, surrounded by your peers, so that you can know them tomorrow when you face a world and a country that doesn't always agree with you. And then when we see a post-Roe America, as I believe that we will, then when your task really begins of helping people find healing and support, then you'll have the strength to keep on fighting for life. Thank you.